Okay, guys, welcome to our AMA concerning Patient Zero, which is the first mini game for RugZombie ecosystem. And I am very excited to kind of announce to you guys everything that we're doing related to Patient Zero. This AMA is going to be relatively brief. I'll probably do 15 to 20 minutes of just sharing stuff with you. And that'll be interspersed with some answering of questions and things that are put into the chat. So if you're just listening, and if you are listening later, like on YouTube, there are questions going into the chat, and I'll make sure to read those out loud before I answer them. First question to answer is, well, what is Patient Zero? Well, it's no secret that RugZombie is a gaming platform, and Patient Zero is our first release of a game. And what we are doing with this game is, I want to say a few things. It's a mini game. Which means it is not our primary game. It is just a fun way for us to enjoy using our NFTs. But it's a mini game that has the potential to be much, much more. And actually, we do have bigger plans for it than simply letting it be as it is. The format of the game is going to be something you guys are probably not used to. We're going really retro on this. So Patient Zero is essentially a MUD. A MUD is a multi-user dungeon. It harkens back to the days when Colossal Cave Adventure was out, and you can Google that later, or Aardwolf, the Wheel of Time MUD. These are some bigger names in that world. But Zork, yep. MUDs are essentially text-based dungeons where users can interact with other users. They can interact with quests and storylines, defeating enemies. It was the predecessor to your modern day RPG games such as World of Warcraft and EverQuest and those types of things. But it is a text-based game. So that means that when you're playing the game, you're going to be interacting with a terminal, not with a graphic engine, but you're going to be looking at a terminal of text. You're going to be typing in commands and receiving a response. You're going to be figuring out puzzles, collecting items, defeating enemies, that type of thing. But it's all purely from a text-driven environment. So why did we do a text-based game? Well, number one, this is yet to be done on the blockchain. My limited research and exposure to the MUD community here in the last few months has shown that this really niche community is, they have a lot of suspicion concerning blockchain and technology in general, about newer technology. But what we are doing is really quite innovative to that space. So this is not something that traditional MUD or text-based game players are used to, not something that they've ever seen. And this is certainly not something that a lot of users who play blockchain games have ever seen. So in that spirit, this is going to be literally the first MUD on the blockchain. A few other reasons why we're doing it this way is just frankly, the graphics-driven games that I've seen on the blockchain are just simply not very good. Until, for an RPG style game, until we start to get the Activisions, the Ubisofts, the really large game companies that are entering into the blockchain space, until we start to see some real huge progress in that department, it would be probably a little too ambitious to do something like a Skyrim or a Fallout type of game with that type of graphic engine. It just would be a little ambitious for our team. Maybe not if we were resourced with millions of dollars to do it, but certainly for what our project is attempting to do. The other reason that we're going to do a text-based game is this allows us to quickly, efficiently, and adaptively make changes to the game engine as we go. So if there are issues at play, it's much easier for us to maintain and much easier for us to fix and tweak along the way. It also gives you, the user, the power to imagine the story and imagine what's happening using your own creativity. I really like this part of it. I really like this part of it, that it's basically going to be user driven in the sense that what's happening is written down in text. However, what that feels and looks like and how you experience it is really up to the user. So in a sense, it's decentralized in the sense that everyone is probably imagining something different as they're playing. I just like that element. And then the last reason is that this is going to form the basis of pretty much our entire ecosystem of games, in the sense that this game will be driving the underlying story. If you think about the things concerning the metaverse right now, and most projects that are focused on the metaverse, they're building infrastructure layers. I want to pause here. Wingnut has said a few things. Yes, we built the engine from scratch. We can basically do whatever we'd like with it. And these types of games are really fun. They're just, old school, retro. They're fun. Okay, so when you think about metaverse projects right now, most of them are focused on infrastructure layer, like just building the architecture for whatever is to come. However, those are kind of empty shells, right? They're good, that we need them, they're necessary, but they're kind of an empty shell upon which a story can be inserted into it. And so what we're doing is we're building the meta narrative that will be embedded into the metaverse, you could say. Stories have a way of driving the human experience, that people like to connect to a story. They want to connect to what's happening in a, this is why, like, it's one thing to own land in Decentraland or Sandbox. It's another thing for that land has to be kind of empowered or imbued with a story. So for instance, a plot of land in the middle of New York City doesn't really mean anything. It only means something whenever you know what it means to be New York City. That means real estate. That means probably pricey, probably rare. Those types of things come because of what the word New York brings to it. And so essentially what we're doing is inserting a story into the metaverse that will grow and grow and grow and grow. So how will it be played? Essentially, I'm going to list out here the NFTs that we're going to be using for the game. All of them eventually will be included. So I'm going to describe for you how the NFTs are going to operate and which NFTs we'll be using to start. And then I'll be kind of sharing a little bit more about our plans for the game long term. And then finally, releasing some details about when this will be out and when you can expect to play it, and give you all the information you need to get ready so that you can acquire or purchase the NFTs that you want to use. So what NFTs will be used and how will they be used? So how they're going to be used is you're essentially going to connect your wallet, and it will require a basic zombie NFT to play the game. So other than that, this entire game is a free-to-play experience. So you would not have to have any of the NFTs from our project or any other project to play this game. As long as you have a basic zombie, you can play. And you guys know those are pretty cheap and easy to acquire simply by staking. And because you're earning a yield, it really is more of a free-to-play experience than you would imagine, because you're probably earning back the zombie that you would have spent by getting that NFT in the first place. So you'll need that to start the game. But every other NFT in our ecosystem is not going to be required for you to complete the game, but they will supplement and enrich the gaming experience. For example, Zombie Slayer is one of our NFTs. That will be an item that you can collect. You'll be able to view it, but you won't be able to collect that item in-game and wield that item as a character. You won't be able to do that unless you own that NFT. There will be certain NFTs that are going to be enemies for you to fight, such as Y Panda, Y Ape, Dragon Farm. These three will all be included as enemies. You can still fight those enemies if you don't have those NFTs, but owning those NFTs will allow you to do certain things in the game that I don't want to spoil, but there'll be perks and abilities that will be based on your collection of NFTs and how many of those NFTs that you hold. So that will come as a part of it as well. There will be items to be collected. There will be enemies and bosses to fight. There will additionally be quests that you can start simply by holding an NFT. So let's say that you hold the Data Lab NFT or the Catacombs NFT, both of which will be utilized in the game. So if you don't have one of those, I would probably head over to the Catacomb section on our site and try and pick those up. Or the BitConnect NFTs, for example. These quests are only going to be available to people who hold those NFTs. There will be certain locations in the game that are only available to people who hold those NFTs. So you can see that it's a free-to-play experience, but it's kind of a hold NFTs to expand experience as well. So as long as you have those NFTs, you'll be able to access these different quests. Now, the main storyline and the primary quest is going to be available for anyone to play. These other parts are simply going to enrich and enhance and potentially accelerate the experience for you. That's kind of how we are setting up the game to work, generally speaking. So let me list out, just for your reference, the NFTs that will be used first. The basic zombie NFT are 3 common NFTs in the Y Panda, Y Ape, and Dragon Farm: the Zombie Slayer, the Data Lab, the Catacombs, and I think, let me make sure I've got all my list here. Those are the big ones that I know for certain. Eventually, all of these will be incorporated, but for right now, we're working with selected NFTs for our, I guess, public beta, you could say. Here we go. Let's see here about the, all of the Fair Moon. So the Fair Moon common, uncommon, and rare will be used. We will also have, let's see. Oh, the Uranium Finance, the Rad Chad NFT will be used. And right now we are scheduled to put something together for the Zombie Trader NFT as well. So those are the current NFTs that we are planning to list into the game first, but essentially all of them will be folded in eventually. So that's how you're going to use the NFTs. That is that's a list of the NFTs that you're going to need first. If you want to, again, I want to stress this, you can play for free. If you want to expand the content and it really accelerate and like explore the full range of what we're doing, holding the NFTs will help you in that regard. So one more thing about the NFTs is there will actually be NFTs in the game for you to earn that you cannot earn anywhere else. So, for example, let's say that you own the Data Lab NFT, just as an example, and you go into the Data Lab in the game. Well, there's potential that in our game, you'll be able to mint an NFT to your wallet that will only be available to you if you are able to accomplish that quest. So getting access to some of our NFTs from our graves not only open up the opportunity to play different quests, but they also open up the opportunity for you to earn new NFTs that are exclusive. Even our primary storyline is going to allow you to mint NFTs along the way as a part of the story. And those NFTs will form sort of like checkpoints, you could call them, in the game. So you're going to play to earn NFTs. You're going to use NFTs to expand the content. Let me tell you a little bit more about our long-term ambitions with the game, and then I'll open up any and all questions that you guys may have. We are beginning to offer the quests that we create in this game as a service to other NFT projects. So here is our hope. Is many NFT collections lack utility, or the utility that they offer is very limited. Maybe they are used to accelerate the APR on a farm or a pool for a project. That is certainly a use case, but that seems to be kind of a limited use case. Another way that you can get at utility in NFT projects is people do like airdrops and that kind of thing. These are all fine. But what we're going to be offering is the ability for an NFT collection in an NFT project. Let's take the non-fungible apes, or let's take the snide sharks or the street punks NFT collections. And we would be able to create exclusive quests that are available for holders of those NFTs. So let's imagine that there's a non-fungible ape holder, and we create a quest line specifically for people that hold those NFAs, those non-fungible apes. Well, another project like the Ape Swap crew, they're going to see that as adding utility to their NFTs, and they're going to be excited about announcing that because it deepens and furthers the utility of their project. For us, we will create a storyline that is a quest that is available to all the players that hold that NFT. It also drives a bit of demand because if people are going to see that there's a quest available for that one, they're going to want to get their hands on a non-fungible ape, for example. So this benefits everybody all the way around. It also means that non-fungible ape holders, in order to play our game, apologies for the noises behind me, all of our non-fungible ape holders will have to end up getting zombie and finding basic zombie NFTs so they can begin to play the game as well. So this is a win-win situation. And the way that it will work is we're going to have basically three levels of quests that we offer to projects. So we'll have common quests, which I'm calling fables. So these are quests that we will create for a project for a very low price point. It basically gives some basic functionality to their NFT in the game, but the quest line is not going to be very long and enduring. It's going to be more of like if you've ever played a game that's like an open world RPG, you go to the farmer and he says, there's these pesky wolves that are eating my crops. And so you go and stop them, and then you're rewarded with some cash or something. These are not mission critical type quests. These are simply just some in-world goodies that you get. So that will be the first level. And we think many projects probably will want to stop there because maybe it's a price thing. Maybe it's they're just they're just doing this just to have some more utility for their project, just so they can say they can. There are other projects that will have our uncommon quests, or what we call legends. So for legends, this NFT collection holder, let's just say the French connected NFTs, for example, they might be a legends quest, which means that if you hold one of their Frenchy NFTs, you can begin a quest that will result in some really exclusive items or perks in the game. So having one of those NFTs is going to be really helpful in that to your character, because you're able to acquire certain abilities that wouldn't be available otherwise. The Legends quest would be eventually available to be folded into the canon of our universe or the primary storyline, but not necessarily. Finally speaking, there is going to be a level of quests that we would call like a rare quest, or I'm just really calling them canon. So a canonized quest would be something that not only do we put a lot of effort into crafting the story and making sure that the quest is excellent for this NFT collection, but it would also be something that quest is forever canonized into the primary story of the zombie universe. So as we create a meta narrative, that quest will actually be a part of the canon, meaning it is a central piece of the story. If you know anything about religious texts, operate with a term called canon, meaning this is sacred, or this is vital, meaning this is the story or the narrative. A lot of games and a lot of sci-fi literature also has that. So Star Wars is a great example of this. Star Wars had a rich, expanded universe. And whenever Disney purchased from Lucasfilm the rights to Star Wars, they basically said everything that was written in the expanded universe now is called a legend. So it's not necessarily true. They're just legends. And then they kind of pick and choose the things they add into the canonical story, which is essentially what we're going to be doing with the Patient Zero storyline. So if you have your favorite NFT collections, this is your cue to start inviting them to get a story crafted with us for the Patient Zero game. We would love to start these conversations. These quests are going to require a lot of effort from our story writer, that's myself, and One Wheel, who I introduced a few weeks back. And it also requires a whole bunch of dev work from Wingnut and others and then it requires some NFT creation. So there's a lot going on. So it's a really labor intensive process, and it comes with a lot of love, but we're passionate about what we're doing and what we're building. And I think that a lot of NFT collections are going to be excited to be included in the story. So that's a little bit about where we're going in terms of how we're expanding the content. We are planning to release a new quest every month as it relates to our primary storyline, and then potentially one or two quest as a service storyline. So these would be the partner projects that utilize our story. So you're looking at 2 to 3 quests per month is our ideal pace. So this story is ever expanding and evolving. Now, later on down the road, and then I'm almost done here, the goal is to completely decentralize the story of the zombie universe into the hands of the community. And I can't share how we plan to do that, but it is really fun how we're planning to do that. But imagine the day when this story is not primarily being told by us, but it's being controlled by the community itself. Where we've created this meta narrative in cyberspace that is controlled and governed by the community, that is immutable in its record. So 50 years from now, people will be able to know this is the story that RugZombie told. And you guys got to be a part in crafting that. It's kind of nascent, you could say. It's very new, very just theoretical. But as we produce these things and put them out, I think you're really going to like where we're going. Okay, so that is that's what I got when it comes to our upcoming game. That's where we're going. If you know NFT projects, feel free to pass them on and let them know about what we're building and how they can play a part. Let me tell you the hard details of when we're launching and some things that you need to know to get prepared, and then I'll take questions. So if you've got questions, this is the time to ask. I will probably answer them because it's at that point where we're ready to start answering questions. So first thing, it's in private beta right now. We basically just released it on Friday, and it's very, very, all the back end stuff that Wingnut has had to set up was really the hard part. The content is the easy part. So what we're doing in our private beta is we're getting the content out as fast as we can, and ever adding on to the universe, and basically we're just testing out how it plays, how it feels, and getting it ready for you guys, because our public beta we hope to give you as an early Christmas gift. During our public beta, what we'll do is we have a Discord channel that we have been creating for a bit. We're actually going to open up a whole entire Discord chat for our entire community, and that will be a place for you if you are testing the game and doing our public beta. That will allow for you to talk about what's going on in the game, improvements, give feedback. And during this public beta phase, the game will be live, so you can play it, but it will be on the main net, and you'll be able to interact with the game just like you would, but it'll be beta. So there will be some tweaks, there will be some changes. You're going to be helping us get things settled, so that when we begin in mid-January, what we'll end up doing is adding all these new quests, and we'll start to really move this thing out of beta into like this is the actual game. So that's the roadmap. A few things concerning the NFTs is our hope is to get our basic version of our secondary market going pretty soon, so that you guys can buy, trade, and sell the NFTs that you some of you are like, well, I have a lot of these, I'd like to sell some of these NFTs to new players. Some of you are like, I don't have that NFT and I'd like to get it. We're going to try and get the marketplace up so that you can do that on a RugZombie platform. That's one of the goals. The other thing that we are excited about as part of our NFT marketplace is a rental system. So let's say that you own the Patient Zero Gamma NFT. And that is a quest, or that is something to be acquired in the game. Well, there's only one of those NFTs. Well, through our rental portal, you'll be able to rent out that NFT to other users so that they can play that quest line and you don't lose that NFT if you would like to keep it. So that is a feature that's coming that we're excited about. But I wanted to just make those elements of this whole thing known so that you can see how we've been thinking about this for you. Because we know that you guys are going to want to play the game. We know that you're likely going to want to do all of the content that's there. And we're trying to create as much space for you to do that as possible. So private beta is going on now. We're going to be ramping that up more and more over the next few weeks. Public beta hopefully before Christmas. And it'll still be beta. And then in the new year, we will be moving out of beta into not really alpha. I don't even know what to call it after beta. So the direction we're going is a January GA. There you go. After beta is GA. I don't know what GA means, but Wingnut says after beta is GA. So we'll be doing generally available. There we go. Yes, it'll be generally available. In January, we will hopefully be adding some of our quests as a service and continuing to improve and expand on the storyline. And yeah, that's kind of the direction in the roadmap for this mini game. So as you can see, we are moving quick. So any questions that I can answer before we close this down?
So any NFT that we hold gets us into the game?
No, the basic zombie NFT gets you into the game. Every single NFT that we offer in our collection will at some point be integrated into the game. But you will need that basic zombie NFT, which is like our perpetually available, most common basic one that we have.
And there's a transaction fee, obviously, to get into the game, but there'll be multiple transaction fees you have to go through while you're playing the game?
That's a great question. No transaction fee to get into the game. Well, Wingnut, what about other than sending your NFT? Okay, I see what you're saying, Wingnut. So he's responding in the chat. Essentially, anytime you would get a reward, so let's say that you complete a quest and there's an NFT available for you. We can make it such that you don't have to collect that NFT on chain. You can simply keep progressing, I guess. But we would think that you'd want that NFT. So there would be a transaction fee for that. Generally speaking, that gets a little complicated because, like, kind of explaining the back end of that, because we're trying to make sure that the data is secure and people aren't just able to mint the NFTs without playing the game. So there's some considerations we're making there. But when you get an NFT reward, or let's say that ApeSwap wants to add a bunch of their token as a reward, as like a war chest, like a loot chest at the end of a quest or something. Let's say that they want to do something like that. Those things would obviously require transaction fees because you are directly interacting with the blockchain. But this won't require you to execute transactions simply to play the game. Yeah, anything on chain, however, would require a transaction fee of some sort. That was a great question, Fred. Any other questions?
All right, so just going back to, again, the NFT, the zombie NFT that's needed to get into the game. Where on your site do you go to buy purchase that or mint that?
Great question. So, most of our graves, if you go to our graves tab, it's on there, but most of our graves require one of the rugged tokens. I mean, that's kind of the point of the graves in the first place, is I got rugged on this project, so let me turn that into an NFT. However, we do offer, there's about 4 NFTs or graves that we offer that you don't need a rug token. And one of those is our RugZombie common grave. So all that, it uses the same mechanism of burning the rug token, but that rug token that's needed is just zombie, and it can just be 1. It doesn't require a large amount. That's just simply the mechanism that the graves use, that the contract was set up for. So that's how we had to design it. But for that one, the minting time is only 7 days, and the minimum zombie deposit is like 1,000 zombie. So at our current price, it's like $3, I think. So it's relatively easy to acquire. You're also earning a yield on that in the end. So we thought it was still fair to call the game free to play, because of the fact that people are earning a yield. And at some level, if you're going to interact with the blockchain, it's going to require some type of transaction in some form or fashion. So that's how you find it. Here, I'll put the Graves tab on our Telegram chat so that you can see it. Oh, okay. Wingnut has already done that. Any other questions? Fred, both of those were awesome questions, by the way. I think really helpful to people that are new to our platform, for sure.
Any of the spawn pool NFTs going to be in the game, or is that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know initially that we will be able to integrate all of them. And some of those are because we're carefully crafting the story itself. And so we want to make sure that the things that we set up these NFTs for are going to be fit into the story. So there's a little bit of a creativity that has to go into it. It's a creative process. But yes, any and all of the NFTs that you have ever earned from our platform will be integrated at some point. The thing that's holding me back on developing all of the quests for the spawning pools is because those are partner project NFTs that we worked with. To some, it might seem that we might be incentivizing some over others, and I don't want to give any appearance that we're trying to play favorites with a particular project or something. I don't think that's really going to be an issue, but that's the thing that's giving me most pause right now, to integrate all the spawning pool ones, because it will be a process.
Well, couldn't you, like, for example, if I own several of those spawning pools, couldn't I just choose in other words, you set them all up, but then I have to choose with a fee to get mine into the system, right? Does that make sense?
Could you re-say it? So in the game, you'll have to use.
Well, in other words, you're saying you're concerned about hurting someone's feelings, but in reality, I've already spent money in the spawning pools and purchased a bunch of those. So
yeah,
I should have.
It's not a matter of if we're going to integrate them. We are certainly going to do that. It's more of thinking through which quests are we going to start with. And I'm not worried about hurting anyone's feelings. It's just whenever we create a quest line, if we do the first one for, Infinity, let's say for Black Eye Galaxy, there's some considerations I have to make to the story, number one, because that NFT has a particular, we've like been thinking about the story behind each piece already. So they're going to be coming out in there will be a schedule, you could say. Like some will come out after others, but it doesn't make them less important. And we're just trying to think carefully through that, like how we release them, because it might give the impression if I release let's take Black Eye Galaxy. If I release that one first, that one can't come first because we have some story development we have to do for what we want to do with that NFT. But they might be thinking, why are you holding out on us? So that's really what I'm talking about, is we're considering our story and the narrative of the game, and wanting to make sure that these projects understand what we're creating, and why we might be withholding an integration for a few months or something. So they will all be in there. I can tell you that.
What do you think would be the best way to introduce other NFT projects to this game, like say Binance Bulls or Moonwalkers or whatever other popular NFTs on the Binance chain?
Could you say the first part of that again? What did you say? What would be the best way to connect?
Like, like to connect. What's the best information to pass on to them?
So on our Gitbook, we actually have our Quest as a Service page already live. So if you go to our documents, which I'll put a link into the chat here, we have that information available. It always does this. Always. There we go. I think one of the best ways that is to send them this, if you know them or if you're reaching out on our behalf or their behalf, is just pass that information along, and then if they are interested, they can reach out to me directly. You can put us in a group, but I would ask that you tag me in our public chat, because I have all of my private messages. Unless you're a contact in my Telegram contacts, I have it all set to archive. So I get so many messages a day that it's just unreal. So I don't want to miss that. So the best thing to do would be to send them that information. If they're interested, put us in a group or get them directly connected to me, and then make it public in our chat so that I know to check. That would be the best process. On that document, on our Gitbook documents, you'll see that they can send me a direct message, or they can even email us. That's fine too. But I just need to know that they're trying to reach out. I do check my archive like once a week, but in general, it's mostly people saying, you need marketing? I have a YouTube channel. So I generally don't look in the archive every day. That's a great question, though.
Cool. Well, thanks for the information, brother.
Yeah, and really, we're open to any NFT project as long as they, you can tell it's not like a scam, or we do some due diligence. We're not looking to, because you're part of the community. So if you're inviting an NFT, you're saying, hey, I think this would be fun, we'll do the work, because it's a service, number one. So we're trying to do something excellent and provide it as a service. And then also it's our community saying, would you integrate these NFTs?
I think Born Bad Boy collection would be good, and Binance Bulls would be pretty good because both of them have zombies.
Yeah, that could be fun. It's going to be really fun to figure out all the ways that we're integrating the NFTs, because we're not planning to do the same thing for every NFT collection. We really are taking them piece by piece. So for the Bad Boys collection, it might look like maybe that's like some kind of gang that you have to fight. I don't know. It could be something like that. It could be a quested item.
I love the gang idea.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff we could do. So the considerations we always have to make is we have our primary canon storyline, but how do we integrate that in such a way? This is why it's going to matter whether these are a part of the canon of the story. So like which level of collection or of NFT quest are they pursuing? Because that'll determine whether or not how much we have to integrate it into the main storyline. So Let's do one more. If there's any other NFT or NFT gaming patient zero related questions, and if there's not, oh, I forgot I was going to drop one final fun part about the game. I'll think on it while you guys are coming up with the last question. No more questions? Cool. Well, I can't remember the thing I was going to share about it. Oh, it's bothering me now. It obviously wasn't that big a deal because I didn't have it written down. It just came to me while I was sharing earlier. And then I failed to type it out so that I'd remember it. Okay, well, oh, another, I remember what I was gonna say. Our intention with our NFT marketplace and the rentals is going to be pretty big in terms of funding our project long term and burning zombie, because we in fact are opening up our secondary marketplace for, first we're going to do it for our zombie NFTs, of course, but secondarily we'd like to make it such that whitelisted NFT projects and pretty much any project that is going to be in our game at a substantial level will likely be a whitelisted project as well. They'll get exclusive. Our NFT marketplace will have the lowest fees on any secondary marketplace on the Binance Smart Chain. Like they will be the lowest. Like we've already researched that, and like the price point we're looking at, that it will be highly attractive for people to trade those on the secondary and to rent them. So I just want you to imagine with me that you are a non-fungible ape holder, or let's say a snide. I used that one already. So let's say a snide shark holder from the Auto Shark team, and they have a marketplace, but I don't know that they have a rental marketplace. So let's say that you own a snide shark and you want to do that quest. You play the game, but now you want to rent that NFT to others so they can play that quest. You'll be able to rent it on our platform, but your NFT collection will be whitelisted to be bought and traded and sold. We think that because our fees are going to be ultra competitive, that our NFT marketplace might be like the silent moneymaker for the project overall. We do plan to use the fees, the service fees, to burn zombie. We do plan to use the service fees to you can set royalties and those types of things. It's going to be pretty cool. So you can imagine like most other NFT marketplaces, but with lower fees and a lot of perks for NFT holders, and really some really whitelisted projects would be what we're doing first.
So are you saying to rent your NFT, are those the zombie NFTs that were rug pulled NFTs?
Yeah, any of the NFTs that you've minted or collected from our platform, obviously those will be available for you to buy, trade, and sell on the marketplace. So it's a secondary marketplace. So primary marketplaces are where you buy the NFTs. So like Farmageddon, they sold their NFTs on a marketplace. That was a primary offering. Secondary marketplaces are for users who already have owned the NFTs to relist them for like a secondary sale. So almost like an eBay type of thing. So we won't be minting any more NFTs of that type. So if you have one of our spawning pool NFTs, for example, we're not going to mint more for the marketplace just to make some sales. Like it's a secondary marketplace. So you guys, like the demand and the supply will be determined by you guys, like listing them.
But for renting them out, the ones that they're going to be the rare ones. Are those usually going to be the rug pull rug zombies? Like your, I don't know, Emperor or...
Yeah, you'll be able, technically speaking, you'd be able to rent any of the NFTs that you own in your wallet. We're not going to limit if it's able to be bought, traded, and sold on our platform. it will be rentable.
Okay.
So that's the goal. Yeah, and we have some pretty fun ideas and things coming up with the marketplace that we can't really get into yet. So, but there's a lot more to the marketplace than just buying and selling and renting in that regard. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're trying to get the marketplace out pretty quickly in the new year or toward the end of this year, because we think that with the game there might be some demand for the NFTs. Maybe not until the game gets more to generally available to people, but that's going to be something we focus on first in the year. Okay, guys, I think I'm a little past my time here, but I want to say thanks to those of you who joined the audio chat and who were listening, and thanks for being just a zombie board member, part of the community. We've got a lot of things coming. Before we go, I want to invite everybody to Wednesday, December 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be doing an end-of-year AMA, where what we're going to do is spend a brief amount of time. Members of our whole team are going to be sharing just kind of what we've been up to, what we've done this year, just kind of reminding us to be thankful in some ways. But also, we're going to live reveal our roadmap for 2022. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming. It's quite ambitious, but based on the delivery of our roadmap this year, I think 2022 is going to be our year. So I'm excited to share that stuff with you. Hope you guys will join us that night.
Hey, quick question.
Yep.
I snuck out of church in the middle to get a brief glimpse.
Get a sneak.
Yeah. Was this
I'm
recorded for the stuff I missed?
It was recorded. Yeah. I'm going to be putting it, if I can get the file format correct, I'm going to be putting it on YouTube just immediately after.
Okay. So you guys don't think I'm super terrible. I'm just thinking of Santa for the kids. So I was listening while I'm putting it out.
That's awesome. Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. If you have other questions, you want to keep talking about it, let's just talk in the official chat. I'll have a few other AMAs coming up over the toward the end of the year, probably the week of Christmas and all that. Just holiday week. A lot of people in the States, just downtime. So I'm expecting it's probably going to be a little more quiet around that week, but before and after, probably have some AMAs for things going on. So thanks for being here, and bye.
Peace out.